it's Julie.
And Jalen.
And
Josh.
here,
Also known as Daddy.
or Daddy, from Julie's Craft Landing.
Hello,
And
beautiful.
we are here on Tuesday. No, Thursday.
Thursday.
Feels like Tuesday. Thursday. Thursday at 2 o'clock, and we're not too bad on a departure time, I have to say.
2:04.
2:04. Not too bad. How's your day going?
Good.
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 We don't have much more time for Jalen to participate in the lives because she'll be back in school. And so, what grade are you going to be in?
First grade.
First grade.
I don't know.
You'll be in first grade. Yep. So, anyway, today I am going to show you, I participated in a card swap, which we've kind of talked about those before, and I'm going to show you the card that I made. So, if you guys were in this card swap, don't look, unless you,
No
you
biggie.
can, but it will ruin it for you. So, this is the card that I made for the card swap. Now, if you remember what card swaps are, is a group of people that get together and make, basically we have 10 people in a group, and so I make 10 of the exact same card. And then we swap them, just like a cookie swap, so that everybody, they do those at Christmas time a lot of
I
times.
don't think I've ever participated in a cookie swap.
Really? Like a cookie candy swap where everybody makes one type of cookie and then you go and swap them with everyone else, so you have all different varieties to give out of cookies
Good
or
idea.
candy. Well, we've done it before. Well, that's not true. I've seen it done before. I don't cook or bake, so I didn't participate in it. But I've heard of people doing that before.
I love to do it. This is cookie. I love cookies.
Yeah, you love cookies. That would be fun. So then you get 10 different cards, and you just have to make one. So you kind of assembly line making one. So and then they usually each have a theme that you go with. So this theme this time I thought was kind of fun. I will admit it sounded easier than it was at first, but I did get it. It was a 3-color theme, and you could use white or very vanilla was a free color. So you could only do have 3 colors on your card other than white. So we did white, obviously, and Petal Pink,
I see a lot of
Mossy Meadow, and my ink color is Early Espresso.
Nice.
Those are the colors that we went with and came up with this design. But I could only use those colors. So how I came up with those was I started finding a paper. First, finding a paper that only had 3 colors wasn't easy to start with. If I was going to use a DSP, if I were just using cardstock, we could have kind of done 3, but throwing in that DSP was a little trickier. So I had to find a DSP that only had 3 colors, and that's how I built from there. So I knew that Mossy Meadow, Petal Pink, and Early Espresso. So that is our 3 colors that we're using, and I'm going to show you how I did this. Now, card swaps are really fun to participate in, and anyone that is part of my downline can participate in the card swaps with my upline also. So there's groups of, I think we have, I'm not sure how many groups there are that do it, but there's like 5 or 6, probably like maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 people maybe that do it, but you only sign up for the one group that has 10 people in it. You can sign up for more than that. If you want to do like 2 groups, then you have to do 2 different cards and such. But if you're part of my downline, then you can participate in that with us. So if you're interested, let me know, because it is pretty fun. We do all different fun things like that. Little fun events.
You get to see everybody else's ideas.
You do, and it's fun to get the different ideas, just to have a variety of cards too, because sometimes I may not have a set that they're using or something, so it's nice to get just a variety. So,
Greetings, Marianne Curtis.
Marianne Curtis. I talked to Marianne Curtis earlier today. Here is my card base that we're starting with. Petal Pink. It's just regular is it A2 or A4 when you're talking about cards? I think it's A2 card size, which is the 5.5 by 4 1/4. And so I started with my Petal Pink base, and then I am using, I tried to bring the biggest sheet I could find. This is the DSP from the Magnolia Lane DSP, and this is what's on the back side. It has stripes on the front. This is on the back, and I didn't have a very big piece to show because I cut it all up for my swap. So once I started cutting up, then I realized I was going to be short on pieces. I didn't have enough, and so I had to figure out, okay, now what am I going to do, because I don't have enough to do if I did 4 and 4 1/4. You know, if I did a full piece for my front, I wasn't going to have enough paper because I only had 2 sheets in my pack that I had.
You had to make it fit.
So what I did,
I see you cut it.
I cheated because
You're a cheater.
we could save cardstock that way.
Marianne said it's an A2.
A2. I know it was either A2 or A4. I don't know where I got A4 from. So instead, I just cut them in half, and then by cheating just a little bit and getting that extra little bit in the middle, then I had enough to stretch it. These actually are a little bit wider than necessary, but these are, what do I have these at? About 1 7/8 is what these are. Really, you could do this probably at 1 3/4, and you would be fine. So I cut this down to 1 7/8 so that we have 2 for top and bottom like that.
Nice.
And then I took my Mossy Meadow, and this is 1.5 by 5.5, and that's going to go over the top of it here.
So you need to be really careful and not move those that way, and then you can't see the bottom.
Yep.
Hides it.
Well, you got to hide it there.
Yeah, you need to hide it.
Sneaky.
That little crack.
And then this is 1 and, did I say what this one was?
I don't know.
No.
The next one's a little smaller, so it leaves a border.
Yeah, this one I might have lied too. This one is actually 1.5.
The next one's probably 1.25.
So the next one is going to be 1 3/8. Just take 1/8 of an inch off. If we took 1/4, that doesn't sound like much, but it actually is pretty good size border. And I've done that, but it's not for this type of card. And by 5 3/8.
So you're making this one thinner than the one you already made.
Just a little bit thinner than that one. So it's just going to show some of that green. See, 1/8 of an inch all around
Yeah.
of the green. Or actually that's
1/16.
1/16 of an inch, not 1/8 of an inch. All the way around there. So that's going to be our base that we do.
It doesn't look good right now.
But I'm going to show you these guys here next, because that is not hard, but just a little more involved than just cutting paper. So I took, we'll come back to stamping the butterflies. So this is, find my little pieces of paper here. I said I was going to be organized. I'm not sure how I did. Hopefully Josh isn't showing all the paper clutter over here. Right?
Right.
Right.
One of these days I'm going to pan down and show the floor in here.
Oh, no. No, no, no,
Yes, yes,
no, no,
yes,
no, no,
yes,
no,
yes,
no, no.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
What you doing over there?
I'm looking for a piece of white paper. It doesn't seem like it'd be that
There's a little
hard.
piece right there.
I got a piece right here.
There you go.
So-
Now you're cooking with
Oh my
gas.
gosh. You'd think that finding a piece of white paper around here. Okay, so for the tags, this is a tag punch that we're using for the top, and the perfect size is 2 inches. 2 inches wide. And I'm gonna do this at, right now I'm gonna make it at 4 1/4. Actually, I'm sorry, yes, 4 1/4 I'm gonna make it at. I'm gonna start a little bit bigger. 4 1/4, we gotta remember it's gonna take up really too much room, but we're gonna shear a little off the top and then I'll cut a little off the bottom too to make it all fit how I want.
Just trim it to size.
Yep. Woo! Things have fallen down there. Now I'm going to use a color that I forgot. I'm gonna have my cameraman run upstairs and we will start with, instead we are going to start with butterflies. I will show you butterflies and coloring butterflies while he runs upstairs to get me Mossy Meadow ink. One of these, Mossy Meadow.
Mossy Meadow ink. Where is
Mossy
it?
Meadow. It's on my desk, my craft desk. It should be on the left-hand side.
And it's the Mossy Meadow.
Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to color right here. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna do, while he's getting that one, I am going to stamp here for you guys in color, because that one is in early espresso.
Oh, I seen you did this one and we lost to the.
And so now my block that here it is, knew that I had. Okay, so we're gonna do this in early espresso because we couldn't use black because remember I was limited to my colors of what I did, and because I had that early espresso in there that almost looks like black, I was like, well, I'll just do that for my butterfly outline. Oh, he needs to be washed because he's not a sticking. Watch this. Gonna.
You stamped him on the
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
I can clean it. Oh, it's still dirty.
Well, my goodness. It's fine. We're gonna stick it back on again here. Here it comes with my Mossy Meadow. With your photopolymers, when they start to get handled too much, you just take them into the sink and just wash them under water and clean everything off. And I used this a ton yesterday, so that is why it doesn't want to stick really good. But that will make them, as soon as they're dry, they'll stick really good again. That's why you saw me lick my finger and just put a little on there because it just stuck right on then. Okay, let me clean that off. And then let's shake this, shake, 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 shake. Get that to dry. Look at that, Mossy Meadow. You came down with the drink too. That's pretty funny.
I had to stop and get a Snapple on the way.
So what I'm gonna do with this is color. I'm just gonna color my whole butterfly, the whole thing, in light petal pink. I'm not doing anything fancy at all. This is what we love about these blends markers, is how well they just blend together. Hi, Janice.
Hi, Janice.
Did you like my photo, Janice? And Marianne?
Today is our 20th anniversary. It's hard to believe, 20 years. That's like longer than I was in school. Well, not quite, but almost. But if you count college too. Seems crazy. You know, I used to look at people's pictures and you'd look at the wedding pictures and people look so young in it, and I didn't look that way until now. Now I look at it, I was like, boy, I did look young back then. And then with the dark, we're gonna start from the center and just do just a little ways out here.
You stamped this really hard. I can't get the center.
About halfway out, just to make them a little darker in the center than the outsides. And then I'm going to do the same on this guy. Just do darker in the center. And then I'm going to let this dry, because let me tell you, it's going to look better when it's dry. When you're using your markers, never worry. They do not look as good when they're wet, so give them a chance to dry before you judge it. And we're going to go onto him. I'm going to use my Stamparatus for this part, and we are going to use, that butterfly was out of the Butterfly Gala with the Butterfly Duet Punch, and you get that still in the bundle. That's 10% off. And now I'm going to go onto the Flourishing Phrases. This is a big stamp set. It's a 2 stamp set that's got really nice phrases in it. It's got your sympathy, your congratulations, marriage, love, a thank you. It's got a little of everything kind of in here. And then just these flower and leaf, and then this neat little design, which is what we're going to use. This design is really cool to play with. I like to use this because it just has lots of swirls and curls and everything. So we're going to take this is, that's the piece I'm looking for.
Tag punch.
Was this our 2-inch piece, or did I use that already? 2-inch by 4 1/4, and our tag punch. We're gonna slide it in here. You guys see it? Slide it in, punch it out. Okay, now with the punch, what I did, or with this, now that it's punched, what I did was on my Stamparatus, I have the graph paper down here that you can buy that fits exactly in here. And then I took a pencil, took my thing, basically lined it up where I wanted to. You can line it up wherever. And then I took my pencil and I drew around the scalloped edge on top here. And then I did the bottom, and then just made a mark for left and right just so that I knew. So now I know that's where my punch goes each time. So all I gotta do is line that punch up, or that
Card.
piece up now with that scallop, and it's gonna be in the exact same spot. That way I don't have to worry about my stamp, because my stamp's gonna stay up here. Remember, I was doing an assembly line of these. So, yeah, I was doing multiples. So I wanted to be able to easily line up and not have to check where my stamp went each time. So
Makes
that's
sense.
why.
I was wondering why you were marking that out if you're just stamping it.
If I were just doing it one time, I wouldn't
doesn't
have to do
matter.
that. But since I was doing it multiple times.
And you want them all match perfect.
Yep.
Makes sense.
And
You're so sneaky.
I am sneaky. And I'm going to ink this up. And why I'm using the Stamparatus on this is, one, for that reason right there. Also because this is a larger stamp, which typically means, for me, I don't stamp it very well. So I'm going to stamp it. I'm going to look and see how it's not, I like it dark and it's a little bit lighter right in that one spot. So I'm just going to ink it up again. Do it again. Make sure I give that a push.
I can clean that.
See that? So now we know it's dark all over. There we go. You can take that and clean that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then at the top, I'm going to put, where'd my block go? I need my block over here.
I was just using that.
I'm going to put just a note on top, because I liked that saying, just because I thought you could use that for this card for all different things. So I was like, that's kind of a nice little saying, easy saying. Because it seems like no matter what you're looking for, I'm always like, oh, I wish this card said that. I like that card, or whatever. So we're going to take that.
And clean it with my hand.
Oh, you're cleaning it with your hand. And my Mossy Meadow. I'm gonna stamp in there.
And then more to clean.
And then right above that, I'm gonna stamp. And there we go.
Block, I need that.
Ta-da! Okay, we got our little tag done now.
Cute, cute.
That's our tag guy, our one.
Wait,
And-
2.
This guy, what I am gonna do, we're gonna measure and cut him in a second here. But I also have then a matching 2-inch wide Petal Pink that we're going to punch.
Yeah.
This is not 2 inches wide. I can tell.
Hi, Deb.
Hi, Deb.
Deb says hi. SU crew.
S is Stampin' Up crew.
That's right.
This is our, what do we call it? Our crafting crew.
Crafting crew.
Crafting crew. We're on a flight right now. This is for a card swap. Here, a 3-color card swap. Deb's done card swaps, she knows they're fun to do. As long as some card swaps in some groups, this is not true in the group that I do this with. I love the group that I do this with because in some groups they get very, very competitive. And it kind of loses the fun because you start feeling like you have to make the best card ever to beat the next guy. And it just keeps progressing more and more. So this group that I do this with, it's not that way. They do very nice cards, but it's not a competitive group, which is very nice.
Should be, first and foremost, it should be fun for everybody.
It does need to be fun. If you're not having fun doing it, don't do it.
Yeah.
That's true with any of this. If you're not having fun doing it, don't do it. I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches. So we're 4 inches from top to bottom now.
Excuse me.
Okay. Now, I'm going to go back and see how this looks better now. My cameraman just ran upstairs. But see how that's looking better now that it's dried? Like I said, always let your ink dry before you judge if you like the coloring or not. It's going to be a little bit of a different color once it's dry. It's going to look better blended in together. Do not judge it until it's all dry. And then if it's dry and you still don't like it, then you can redo it. So I'm going to line those guys up, just like that, and punch them out. And then there's a little body part right here that sometimes I put on and sometimes I don't. We have ruckus going on upstairs. So I'm going to go back and put this little body on here so that he's got a body. On the bigger one, it definitely, I feel like it needs a body. On the little one, you don't always realize it. Now he's got a body. Last time we lost that little piece for a while.
Just a brief moment.
Yep, we found it. Okay, so now these guys, I'm gonna go back and I'm going to edge these guys because they're gonna overlap, so it kind of starts to blend it together a little bit so that it's not quite so stark going from one color to the other. So I'm just gonna edge this with Petal Pink.
Fancies it up.
It does.
Gives it that finishing touch.
I always like it. Well, and it's like I said, it makes it, especially when you're putting one color on top of the other, sometimes it gets a little bold. Sometimes that look is really nice, and I like that, and then once it dries, see, then it's not going to be quite so stark going from one to the other. So again, this is using, the only colors that I could use was Petal Pink, Mossy Meadow, Early Espresso, and white was my free color, which made it a little tricky for my ribbons because there's a very pretty Petal Pink ribbon in the catalog. I do not happen to have it. So I had to go with white ribbon for sure because I couldn't go to a different color at all. So I'm using the white polka dot sheer ribbon here to top my tag with.
everybody.
Coming back.
She made it.
Yeah.
And because I did my tags a decent size, because I wanted to show off that stamp there, I've cut my ribbon pretty short. Now, if I were just giving this to someone, you could leave it longer. But I'm putting it in an envelope, so.
My block's gone.
Well, I stole it while you were gone.
Nice.
So I took these ribbons and I just cut them down to pretty darn short. I mean, because like I said, I'm pretty much using the whole card for my stuff. This would be overhanging quite a bit if I didn't cut it down good and short.
I can't see your finished card now.
Jen's got it moved way over there.
You can
So
put
now let's start putting this puppy together. So I think we got pretty much all the pieces. So we got our card base again. Our 2 pieces that we cut
There you go. Okay, you can just lay it down front, Jalen.
so that we
There you go.
save some of our DSP. If you guys are just making one, you don't necessarily have to cut it in 2 unless you want to make sure that you are utilizing as much as you can, but you could just use 1 solid piece, taking an inch off of, or an eighth of an inch off of the sides.
I don't know which way to go.
But because I was doing so many, remember I had to cheat and stretch my DSP as far as it would go. I put that one on upside down.
Yeah, you did. The stripes don't line up.
Yep. Yep, I'm peeling it back up.
It's a crack. Just a minor bump.
Just minor. It's normal.
Snail.
That's normal for me. Peel it up. Stick it down. Peel it up. Stick it down. Just means I'm real. There we go. Because if I would have done it the other way, it would have been obvious that I used 2 pieces of paper. And we were trying to keep it somewhat secret from other people. We don't want the people that get it to know. And my Mossy Meadow strip and my Petal Pink. I'm just going to layer these on top of each other.
I made lots of stamps.
Nice.
And then I'm going to layer this on top. This is all about the layers here. Keep layering it up.
I used this for.
That was the body of the
Butterfly.
butterfly.
So,
Okay,
but
so there's our kind of base with the base number 2, our base with the base.
It's all about the base.
For these guys, then I had to kind of figure out how to lay them out to make sure that they stayed up there, knowing that this is going to get smushed down, but just in the envelope. And I took, first what I did was I left that down there, and I put my, because I knew I wanted that one there, I put my snail or tear and tape or whatever you're using on the back of this, and then I just pushed, I didn't glue it all the way down, I'm just pushing right there on that piece, so that now I have those 2. Now I'm going to put my snail on all of it, and then I know that we're going to fit on this whole thing, just like that. Now when I was doing multiples, I actually held these, each of them, and I lined the next one up behind it and just glued them on, and until I had my whole stack of them, of these made together, and then I glued them all down so that they were all exactly the same. And then my little butterflies, we take these guys and just kind of bend them up a little bit. They're gonna get smooshed back down, but that's okay. Bend them up a little bit, and I did use dimensionals. I used big dimensional on this guy, on the big one. I used a little dimensional on the baby.
My baby.
And I debated on this one whether to, I knew I wanted him there, whether I wanted him going in opposite directions or the same direction.
Looks good any way you do it.
I know, I liked them both ways. Maybe this one I'll do in the opposite direction just because I did that one in the same direction, so for something a little different. Put him right there. Put him right there.
You won't even notice. I'll just put it over there.
Then the last thing I did was I went to the bling corner.
Bling.
And I found these, which come in, I have just this one with me, but these are the basic adhesive back sequins. And I thought, this one, they're iridescent, but they have a green tinge to them. So I thought this one I could pull off.
Not just green, Mossy Meadow.
Mossy Meadow. But this one I think I can pull this off because it's not necessarily a color. So, it's a little bit of everything. So I used these and put a few of these on. 3, because you know we do everything in the 3s. I'm going to put this one right here because I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a little tiny mark on my paper right there. So I'm going to put that one right there to hide that mark.
Where's the
That's,
mark?
well, I just hit it. You're never going to know.
Sneaky, sneaky.
That's why we love them. And there we go.
Cute.
10 of those we whipped out in no time. These were actually very simple to make.
That's a good idea, just using that little card or label punch. You wouldn't necessarily think to use that on the front, but it ended up being something kind of cute.
It is cute. Yeah, I really like that. And the funny thing when you see this punch, especially in the catalog, it shows you this picture. That's it. That picture right there. And you look at it and it's like, what is it?
Yeah.
What do you do with it? I couldn't picture it in my head what to do with it. And then when I saw it used and to make the little tags, and you can make bookmarks or tags or whatever, I was like, I love it.
Yeah.
There's actually, I believe, 2 of them in the catalog right now. I'm not positive, but I think there's 2 of them. So those are our cards, and that was the card swap. And like I said, if you guys are interested in a card swap at all, and this card swap, by joining my team, that allows you access to this group that I do this card swap with, because it's all people it's all team leaders that make the card swaps, and it is a lot of fun. And you don't have to be in the area because we mail them off to one person, and then that one person organizes them all and sends them back out to us once they all arrive in. So that is the card swap. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It is Thursday of a crazy week. I will tell you, I think it's a full moon.
It is a full moon today.
I think it's been a full moon all week
Yeah.
in the Burdick household. If you guys saw my post today where it said we were doing a math problem, because I posted it on the page also. A plus B plus C equals a very angry face. That was my son, who was doing laundry and swapped the clothes to the dryer, pulled out the lint filter to clean the lint filter off, which I give him credit for that. He did do that, which I was glad. Now, how this happened, I'm not exactly sure. The roll of Scotch tape went down the lint filter hole.
Because the lint filter is on top of the machine. It's not like in the door or anything like that. It's on top. There happened to have been a thing of Scotch tape, and it sucked it right in there.
It did suck it in. It wasn't on.
Oh, well, he knocked it in there. However, it
How
fell
it went
in there.
in. We must have had an earthquake. I don't know. Somehow that went from there. Now, why? Yes, you can go ahead and ask. Why was the Scotch tape in there?
Who knows?
Let's not ask.
Who knows?
Okay, let's just go by that. Scotch tape down the hole. Can't get it. No way to get it except to pull out the whole washing machine, because you can't pull out just the dryer
Without pulling out the washer.
because the washer's in the way, because we don't have enough room in the laundry room. So the whole washing machine had to get pulled out to get the dryer out.
I had to disassemble, unscrew the whole back of it, and then unscrew the vent off the back of it to get finally inside it. But it was actually probably a blessing, because once I got in there, it was full of a lot of lint and everything else. So hopefully we see we
was.
prevented a future fire.
We did, and for those of you that haven't ever pulled your dryer apart, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So if you guys need a little incentive to pull your dryer apart, all you gotta do is throw some Scotch tape down the vent hole and the lint trap hole,
Yeah.
and then your husband will go and
Take it apart.
and dig that all apart. So that's what that was about. That happened this week amongst several other things that we don't even want to discuss that happened. But it has been a rough week. But that's okay. We're still in a good mood. We're gonna make it through the week. It actually is all stuff that we're just gonna plow through and say, you know what? There's a reason.
Yeah, above and beyond all that, we made it to our 20th, so that's
We made it to our 20th.
That's not too bad.
And you know what? All is good. We're all alive. You know what? We're all alive. So all is good. You guys have a great night. We're going to see you tomorrow at noon for the last live of the week. Have a good night. Bye-bye.